So for us, I had grown up in this place whereby I had seen us recycling at home.
Yeah.
I was before I was not like the big environmental champion.
Like Munene here.
Yeah.
And
Me,
Diana.
I was the dude mwenye kunywa kwa soda and then nichukue chupa nifungue dirisha. Meet at somebody say.
Hapo Diana anakurusha.
You become enemies.
You become enemies.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Global Tech Sellers. We are so excited to have you here and joining us to listen to yet another awesome episode. My name is Rhonajoy Koome. On set I have my co-host with me. Please tell us who you are. The famous
Diana Mongina.
Yes, on set we have the famous Diana Mongina. Apart from that, we also have some very beautiful, do I say beautiful? Distinguished, handsome guests with us. I usually like when our guests introduce themselves because I don't want to do them injustice, exactly. So I will let them introduce themselves. Please, gentleman number one, tell us who are you?
Hello, I'm Enock Mokua, co-founder and COO Kilimo Africa.
Awesome. So happy to have you here, Enock.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Munene brand, co-founder at Rafiki Carbon.
Great to have you, Munene Brian, co-founder. So for this particular episode, we sat down and we thought we have so many of us out there who have ideas on maybe a business idea or a startup idea, and we most of the time don't know where to start from, what to do. And so we sat down and thought, who else to have other than people who have been in the kwasoko for so long doing these things. So for this episode, we'll be speaking on startups and how to just, if you have that idea, so how do you go about that? How do you move from the idea to making it work? So I will want to start us off with just getting to know your stories and just getting to know exactly where you guys started. But before that, just please tell us what your company does. What does Kilimo Africa do?
We usually collect solid waste in Eastlands. We take the solid waste and convert it into organic fertilizers. These are then distributed and sold to small-scale and medium-scale farmers in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's much of our work.
So, collecting manure and turning it to... Actually, you said... I don't want to solid waste
yeah.
And turning it to
organic fertilizers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rafiki Carbon. What is Rafiki Carbon all about?
Kila sana mbongo we're doing it is commerce. Anyway, we are creating models for pre-financing renewable energy projects while offsetting ESG corporates.
Brian, what is this? You're losing me already.
So every company has its own emissions.
Yeah.
So we are primarily focused on Scope 2 emissions. Scope 2 emissions is emissions from electricity.
Yeah.
So your source of electricity.
Yes.
And then so the offsetting is when they now purchase renewable energy or RECs, which are renewable energy certificates. And then the people what was stima wanapata pesa, the company gets to be net zero.
Okay. Carbon credits. If you don't remember anything, just remember carbon credits, renewable energy. Yes.
It's interesting how both the startups are environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
And I'm a very good person when it comes to environment, so kudos. So maybe we could go right into the startup journey. How did you come up with the idea? What were your thoughts about it? Yeah, maybe you can start with Brian.
Okay. So I think I finished Moringa at November last year. Immediately I finished, if you've been to Moringa, those emails from Mongina and the likes, right?
Yeah.
So I got one, and it was for a hackathon. But now this hackathon, it's about climate. I've been a climate activist, but wale wa down low.
Yeah.
Si wale wa kushout. So I thought, this looks interesting. Wacha niende my first hackathon. I see what hackathons are. I didn't know what they were. So I went. I think it was a 4-week period till the day of pitching. Had an idea because the problem statements were 2: waste management and food security for Africa.
Yeah.
So at that time I was thinking food security inakaa rahisi sana.
Yeah.
I remember the idea I submitted was creating a hub for farmers, finance people, mitigation of food, tembe huku.
I feel like I saw that pitch. Yes.
But nikachukuliwa, formed a group, I think with 5 people. Walitoka mmoja. I went to pitch peke yangu. I pitched. So as the week was progressing, and what I appreciate the most about this specific hackathon,
Yeah.
is we had mentors.
Yeah.
And not just technical mentors, we had climate mentors.
Yeah.
So as you're thinking, unajua idea tu ni idea.
Yeah.
Enock kupenda kusema tu ukiamka hivi kwa bafu utapata idea billion. So it was just an idea, but when you start working on it, you realize ulikuwa story zako, so you have to iterate into something else.
Yeah.
Or to a more profound problem.
Yes.
Like that. So there's this her name is Kaljin Nowen. She works for CCAP. And I just came across the word carbon credits because at that time we were working around waste management, now with the group. So we told her about carbon credits, and then she told us, if you're doing this, it's either you go big or you go home.
Yeah.
At this point tumebaki watu wawili. So the lady alikuwa unaonaje? Naambia haisi, let's go big. Why we just go big? So kafanya research because I remember what I pitched that day kwa Moringa.
Yeah.
Singe stand a chance na watu kama Enock.
Hey. Oh, you guys were in the same
We're
competition.
in the same competition.
Yeah.
So mimi kama kijana barobaro nilijigas tu kenda I only had pitch deck slides, by the way.
Yeah.
Because we ni graduate, siezi code market system zima. And the rest, wow, walijipea shughuli. So I did pitch it. I remember niliambiwa na Karen I was at position 4. So kaniuliza, are you willing to put in the effort and the work into this idea? I'm like, yes. And then that was it. Even though nilimaliza my year. And I think that's where the journey of what we are doing today started.
From a hackathon.
From a hackathon. And this wasn't just the hackathons you go, una pitch, alafu unapewa $1,000.
Yeah.
Kwaheri. This was a different one because it was a hackathon for change. They want to bring you to speed on creating a whole company.
In short, there was life after the hackathon.
Yes, because they called it the incubation. So that was it. Yeah, naweza sema hapo ndo ilianza because the rest hiyo pia story ni mingi hapo in between.
From the hackathon. So it started from the hackathon.
Yes.
What about you, Enock?
Mine started same case with Munene. But I created the initial idea for Kilimo Africa.
Yeah.
Was for creating a hybrid system that we combine waste management and food insecurity, and we just solved the two. So we are still there, but we were then back, we were different in such a way that we collected the waste from the people, we brought it back, we did what we do with it, and then we took it to the farmers, and then from the farmer to the waste disposer. But now coming to think about it later now, after we refined it until I pitched during the hackathon. I was first runners up. Yeah, I was first runners up.
Claps.
I remember when people were pitching there, and then I was the first one to pitch. Nikapo hivyo nimejifikiria people are pitching, go like, oh my god, ningesema hiyo. And then kwanza the other dude called David Nene. He was the first one. That guy created, I think, like he coded the whole system, and it was using AI and whatever. And niko hapo najiita machine learning engineer without any experience. Like his project was just interesting. Hata on paper even ningejiambia I could go and sell my few belongings, like come and invest there.
Yeah.
Kutoka hapo sasa niko nakula dividends. Oh my god.
Then you can imagine I've shown up to the same hackathon. Na slides.
Oh, and there are people who have been there. But look at you now.
When I met this dude was about to cry. Alikuwa kidogo ambia bana Munene shida ni gani? Ambia you know the other lady is not coming. And then niliisha.
Enock laughed.
I was laughing. And then I was there telling him, Mana, me bedhe ni seminingi watu. That's why I'm pitching alone.
Oh, you were alone.
pitching alone.
Wait, from day one?
From day one.
You were alone.
I never entered.
Hey, Enock is the
You
man
didn't have
solo
a team.
people.
Most of the things that initially when I execute them, I usually work alone. But later I've come to realize that is a toxic behavior.
Yes, it is very toxic.
And people need teams, yeah. So I've come to meet some amazing people that we collaborate on most of the projects that even I do outside Kilimo Africa.
Yeah.
I usually partner with specific people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how Kilimo came about. Initially we were waste facing, but now we are actually agriculture facing.
Yeah.
Agriculture, and it's like now we are solving the core problem is food insecurity.
Yeah.
By offering clean fertilizers. We have tried them with a couple of farmers, and they are saying it works. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So interesting. I think you guys are solving some of the very core issues we have like currently. So
in Africa.
In
SDGs.
Africa. Yeah, SDGs. So it's quite incredible work you're doing.
I think they've also talked about hackathons. Maybe some people are wondering what are hackathons and all that. We did an episode on hackathons. You can check it out. It was our previous episodes. We'll link it below.
Yeah, for sure. So now you have come out of the hackathon, and now you've moved into, you've been told the organization organizing the hackathon has said that you guys, we want to proceed with you
To an incubation.
Now, how was it in the incubation?
I remember when we were doing the initial interview, and Karen and Louis are telling me, but you guys, are you prepared to create companies? Hey, again, nakwambia niona nimetoka ghetto. I was out of the hood. So I was like, yes. And then now going back home, napatana with my mates up with my friends. Yeah, you guys, I'm getting out of the block. You're Navy. I'm the next big thing.
Yeah.
So coming back now, they interviewed us. Now they focus us as individuals and who we are.
Yeah.
Not like who are you as Enock. So that's when I did most of my self-realization. I also, that's now when you notice your toxic behaviors, your apps, where you are good at, where you are bad at. Now that's when now we have a shift in your state of mind. Yeah. In your mindset. So we got there now during the hackathon. Initially, like they were focusing on us. Actually, when when I entered into Hackathon, I thought that kulikuwa na pesa.
Yeah. Shocked you.
Yeah, I was seeing dollar
Alipewa
notes.
certificate.
Kwenye alafu napatiwa certificate of participation and a t-shirt. Ifika huko hivyo, after now getting like now entering to the incubation program, now we meet with Munene. Hapo hivyo sana, no, that's when we started calling each other founder. Then now we are trying to create, to understand who we are as a person.
Yeah. So the first thing was you guys had to figure out who you are as a person.
You have to figure out who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship like is a journey on itself. You need to have that. Karen calls it grit. You need to have that grit to actually to persevere. I can't say persevere, but yeah, to actually live out through the journey. You also need to learn and unlearn and relearn quickly.
Yeah.
On the go. And you need to know how to talk to people. When they're talking to people, you're trying to talk to your customers and telling them you have this great product. And then now you have to listen to people. Yeah. I think the shift of the mindset has been like one of the most transformative things that I have had during the incubation program, especially with the abundance mindset, where you have all these challenges going around you.
Yeah.
And you decide not to see them as challenges but as opportunities.
Yeah.
As Africa tuko na shida nyingi, like a lot of problems. Napitanga pale CBD and then oh my God, zote ni shida. And for every problem is a potential business idea where you can create a solution and tell people, hey, pay for it.
Yeah.
And people will actually pay for it if they relate. Yeah.
Okay. So what was your biggest learning on that incubation period?
I think it has been my biggest, let me first focus on my biggest learning. My biggest learning like innovation. See, like ningisha kwa class naambiwa, this is innovation. Then you're given history of innovation, how to innovate. No, thinking quickly and thinking on the go. My biggest unlearning ni this. Like those people are pessimists.
Yeah.
Is that the correct word?
Yes, it is.
Kwa hapo, like now you are getting a bit of a challenge and then you're screaming, hey, I can't make it. Okay, you guys, changa for me.
Against me.
Kwa pale Twitter unawambia you are tweeting paragraphs and telling people on how you are sleeping hungry.
Yeah.
But when you look around, like there's a lot of opportunities to I think my biggest relearning. My biggest relearning, whatever my previous experiences that I had with, I had interacted with waste, solid waste before. So coming on and bringing that experience to me and how to actually navigate the business of solid waste management in Nairobi, that has come a long way in helping us.
Awesome. What about you, Brian?
Well, I think he's really add out kila kitu. Because I don't know if other incubations are the same with Jacob's Ladder. Because they really, really focused on the individual.
That's for how long, first of all? Is it for 3 months you're there focusing on yourself and trying to know yourself?
It's not that you're focusing on yourself. You're still working on because the module and the content was sort of 1.1 is your big idea. 1.2 is market customer analysis and whatnot.
It's like a whole curriculum.
Yes.
How long was it?
You're following.
We have not yet finished, actually.
Whoa.
Like
So
it's
still ongoing.
I told you it's a journey.
Yeah. It's not a pap thing.
It's not a snippet. It's a whole encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So as you're doing that, and then we used to have one-on-ones Sasa Friday. And in the interaction with these two people, that's Louis and Karen, that's when now you do the self-reflection, self-realization. That's what they're pushing. But the content or whatever you're going through is you and your startup. But what they're more focused on is you. Because I think the mindset is, if you create a founder, even if this idea does not work here, this guy will go somewhere else and execute. So that is the most important thing, I think, even to them, because they'll ask you, we've done this, we did this. So what did you learn? What did you get from it? I got this and this and this. And then they're like, now you should, and they won't give you answers to your questions.
Yeah.
They will give you a pathway to answer your own questions.
Yeah.
So the incubation, it has been a journey full of the word grit, because I remember as I was starting, I used to ask a lot of questions before doing.
Yeah.
Should I do this? Is this what I'm supposed to do? I used to ask everything. Up to a certain point, I remember, I know this question might sound stupid, but I will still ask.
Yeah.
And because these are excellent mentors, Karen was never ever say a question is stupid. Ask zote ziulize. So I remember getting from that point of too many questions, not knowing what to do, to a point we're sending out very long emails to people.
Yeah.
Nadi mi saizi ndo nakaa hivi najuliza, hata wewe ingekuwa ni wewe ungesoma hiyo email kweli? So you get ignored, unakasirika, kumbe the problem is you. Si watu wako na maringo. So you do, and I like he said there was the learning, unlearning, and relearning. Because it's a constant thing. Hakuna what worked yesterday might not work today. And what worked on Cecilia as a person will not work on Sharon as a person as well.
True.
So there is that constant learning, relearning. And then I also think, for me personally, having to work with a founder really, really helped, because trust me, there are nights and days you don't feel like doing anything because there's too much and no time, and you've not slept yesterday.
Yeah.
And then this guy, wacha ujinga, founder. So there was that. And I think what I live and push more about is the mentorship. I think having very good mentors will set you up for a very good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Louis and Karen stand between, and I like Enock amesema self-realization for him.
Yeah.
I think it's the same for me, because there are things you used to do and now they're showing you see hii kitu wenye ulikuwa tu unafanyanga randomly, you can now use it this way.
Yeah.
And it can make you bring impact. Yeah.
And then it hits you.
It hits you. You see this thing. You need to ask yourself, and they won't tell you stop or what. They usually ask you, wewe unaona aje?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they cultivate the mind of, you think for yourself. You execute by yourself. Yeah. So mentorship, and I think
then let me build on it. With mentors, they usually introduce you to a network of people that you are out of touch with. I've shaken some hands. Then you're calling soft money.
Hey. I remember there's a time tuneka chumvi, and then they're like, unajua me, I don't take this salt.
The normal salt.
Himalayan salt.
They usually shake some hands who like, yes, I can feel it. And then you find like people who have money and who have achieved success have a way of looking the world that a desperate dude doesn't have. Your vision and whatever they are seeing are very different. They might look at you and you are just oozing desperation and bad vibes.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why I think the rich remain the rich,
Yeah.
the poor remain the poor.
Oh gosh.
Because no, the thing about it, the rich always creates like other companies that become successful.
Yeah.
But if you get access to that network and you actually the network, you can unaweza shika hiyo homa ya pesa.
Yeah.
And it's a good call to catch. So you usually find like their mentors, although not like the people with money, but people who have been in the space like in the environment space for long.
Yeah.
I remember there's one of our customers. Yeah, he has over 10, 15 years of experience in the renewable energy space. And he said something I don't think it was by mistake, but as just by the way, he was like, hey, by the way, you guys able check out the renewable energy space in Africa. And there's something called researching, very important. You usually go around digging for information and discovering other startups that are in the same in the same space with you. They are creating. They have very different approaches. Like now, that's when I first interacted with something like biochar.
Yeah.
And people are telling me that we burn this using some process called pyrolysis, and I'm there like, you. And because now you have to look intelligent, like I've heard about that.
Very important.
Because at the end of the day, every relationship is give take.
Yeah.
So whatever he's telling you, at least he expects. Atakama utasema, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Although even if you can't relate, you have to give just something back. And not everyone that you meet during the networking is out looking for your own good, because people every day, even for the rich, even Elon Musk, he's busy creating SpaceX and then trying to make that extra coin. So not everybody patana like he has those good intentions with you. Others will be there trying to learn your trade secrets, and you end in, am I allowed to cuss?
No.
So others are just there to learn on your method of execution, because even your idea is not unique, but your method of execution is unique. So you might have this great idea of how I'm going into entering the market, and you say to somebody, and then you realize maybe he has other companies, and then he uses your own technique to finish you up.
Yeah.
So what we are getting, we have had the startup journey, how it is started, what they had to learn during the incubation stage. You have to realize, to know who you are as a person. You have to have mentors who are holding your hands, and you also have to have that mindset of growth. Every time you are creating something or you are solving a problem by yourself, that's the mindset that you have to grow.
So now we have moved from the incubation. I want to ask now to move. How did you refine your process? I think most of us, we have ideas, but now coming to just execute them is a problem, and there's a lot of things that goes in there. So I want you guys to share your experience, how you refined your process, like how you refined your idea and moved from now, this is the idea that we had, into now execution. So what was
most of the problem that we're trying to solve usually are related to your background. You find even most of the successful startups that are out there, people have had similar problems with them in the past.
Yes.
You look at the guy who created Legos. Probably, I was reading his story, and like during his childhood, he was interacting with Legos. I think it's a family business. I love to research about that. The guy who created Airbnb, they had this challenge of where do we sleep when we get to San Francisco. And there are a lot of people. Funny enough, I'm forgetting them.
It's okay.
So for us, I had grown up in this space whereby I had seen I had seen as recycling at home.
Yeah.
I was not like the big environmental champion up in
Like Munene here.
yeah.
And
Me,
Diana.
I was the dude.
Activists.
I was the dude mwenye kunywa kwa soda and then nichukue chupa nifungue dirisha. Meet at somebody said.
Hapo Diana anakurusha.
You become enemies.
You become enemies.
Yeah. And then nimeenda kwenye kumambele feeling very satisfied with whatever I've done. Or that kind of dude.
Yeah.
So getting there, I had seen this trend at home whereby for any organic waste, the food scrap that we had, we usually composted them, not at the larger scale level, but just at the smaller scale. Maybe we had a separate bin where we usually place them, and then now we take them and use them in our garden. So coming there, because actually whatever I'm trying to create is in the same space, and I'm trying now to take it large scale. Now that's when research comes in. You go around looking at whatever other people who are in the same industry, what are they trying to do? So one of the companies that initially popped up was Regen Organics. If you have been around Nairobi, you have seen this toilet to blue. The rich. Yeah, but if you go to East London, like that, yeah. So I was looking at how they work, and they usually they are focused on the human waste side, the exhauster side. No, that's where like they're focused, and they're trying to regenerate.
Yeah.
So, and I was looking probably in the field of solid organic waste. I also looked at them. They were also doing something in that, and because the secrets are like guarded, how they usually do their work. So I went around poking at companies that I know, not the smaller fish in the ocean. So now that's when I went like back. These are research papers that actually the professors write.
Yeah.
So I ran across multiple that were looking on how to create green fertilizers, and reading that and trying to build on that knowledge and using all the resources that I have. Now I created that. I executed that in using also the knowledge that I had gathered earlier.
Yeah.
And how not come up with the production process. Now, one thing you need to know when you're coming up with a business, now you need to make your processes efficient.
Yeah.
Now, probably for us is just lowering the time from collection to actually getting to the customer. Now, for any other business that's out there, it's probably now from getting the raw materials probably to actually getting your customer to pay for that product. You should make that process as painless as possible for your end consumer.
Yeah.
And as comfortable as possible and as efficient as possible. So,
yeah.
Come in our case that we are selling, you're selling tomatoes. Make sure whatever they receive, they go ripe, they're not green, and they're not rotten.
Yeah.
So from the farm up to the distribution, in a far like very efficient.
Yes.
Yeah. Making your process very efficient and actually building up on science and seeing what other people are doing and whatever knowledge you have, creating just a hybrid of that. Or if you're trying to invent, pioneers invent. There's space for that. You can do that, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, Brian, you also did a lot of research when it came to your idea.
Well, you've spoken of you have the idea, now the process within the incubation, right?
Yes.
So a startup is just an enterprise, but dealing with a lot of uncertainties.
Yeah.
A startup is sort of a business, but in poker.
Yeah.
Because poker, you don't know who will win unless you're counting cards.
Yeah.
So there is the important things you need to know, and I think they're very simple. Because for one, you need to sharpen on the idea. Because as you've mentioned, the ideas ni mingi sana. So when you sit down on that idea, you need now to formulate sort of quote unquote a hypothesis that you will use testing it out. Because you want to do something for a certain people and they pay you for it.
Yes.
That's not an easy thing to do.
Yes.
So it's sort of a continuous experiment up until when you're making big profits, and then you realize experimented to Asia, because you'll still need to continue inventing to remain
relevant.
Exactly. So there is the idea, then we come down, you then enter into your people, now the market and the customer.
Yes.
You need to understand them very well. So there is the idea, it has its specific people. If you don't specify, utakuwa na a very good product, but there is nobody to buy it.
Yeah.
Or very good product, kila mtu imembamba, but only for 2 months. Because you really didn't get deep into them. You really didn't understand what they want. So after you're done with your market customer, the next thing you bring now, you have to also understand the problem as it relates to your customers.
Yeah.
Because your idea is for specific people solving a specific problem for them.
Yes.
So you get into that, you dig on it, and you fall in love. Actually, you fall in love with the problem. Hii ndo engine yako sasa. You fall in love with it. And as you're doing this problem, it's now for a specific people. It's not general anymore, because you have to specify your market. Once you're good with your problem, obviously now it's a solution, again, for your specific people, solving the specific problem that you found.
Yeah.
And then sasa unajua ukiwa na hizo vitu zote, I think you have an MVP now. I think now kutoka hapo, you pick it, now you go and test it. Because I remember this whole journey, it's been about researching.
Research?
Yeah, there was a lot of research. I remember there's a time, unasoma PDF ya almost 120 pages. And Kenya umetoa kutoka hapo ni 2 sentences. Especially sisi watu wa carbon credits. And it's actually ni weird tukawasaidia carbon credits. Africa inapaswa kukua the ones offsetting the world. But we have little knowledge around this. Because unaingia online hakuna. Utasoma articles za watu hazikusaidii, because if our 20-page PDF can bring you to only two sentences, unaweza imagine sasa articles za watu ni ngapi utasoma. So then after that research, you need now to talk with people hapo kwa ground. And you know, kama Enock vile amesema, our mentors have helped us tap into a connection I never thought of tapping in, especially sahi.
Yeah.
And when you tap into such a connection, awezi enda tu seme naitwa hivi na nataka. You cannot. You just can't. Hawezi. You need to go there with something kwa mkono, so that you exchange. You exchange what you have. So when here ina happen, ndo unakuja una realize hii nayo uongo, tutoke. Because with the whole of this process, the documentation has been one for the books, because lazima you document everything. And it was just recently I did the revisiting of every document. Unacheka tu peke yako. What were these? What nilikuwa na approach hiki to aje that time?
Yeah.
Because right now we're sort of in the version 5 of this idea. Still same thing.
Yeah.
But as you dig deep, una realize system, in as much as you want to build it, people will not use it.
Yeah.
Because they prefer something else. So how are you going to still have a system that is doing what you want, but for specific people that will actually want to use it?
Yeah.
Unatoka hapo, una realize, aya, iko correct but halfway. Unatoka another version. Hii sasa iko sawa. You work on it, you find something else, you realize, oh, no, this is actually. So it's been uko hapa, the idea was very nice, but as you're testing it, as you're identifying your specific people, the specific problem and the solution you want for them, utenda ukichange, utenda tu ukichange
based on their feedback.
Yeah.
because the feedback is very crucial, and sometimes pia the feedback can also be hazy because you really need to have a product. No, sasa kama saizi Enock akona mbolea, nenda nakupea na anangoja feedback sasa ile honest, because when you send out a survey, a customer may think they know what they want, but sometimes they really don't.
Allow me to interact you. Actually, when talking to customers, one of the greatest thing you can do is observing the customer.
Yeah.
Observing what the customer does in his or her natural space is very important. You might find somebody talking about he's saying, probably, let me use an example. I think I've used this example before. Somebody is planning how to sell githeri to Mjengo people.
Yeah.
Now, during now the market research, you are trying now to introduce probably a new product, ngwashe. Now, your hypothesis is ngwashe is cheaper and offers more health benefits, and you shiba for long. Now, getting there, you might not, when you're trying to talk to customers and trying to understand their problem and offering them this good and affordable food, one of the greatest things that you can do is observe what they do at lunchtime. Not talk to them. Although talking to them might give that feedback, but not the initial just observation, while just having just a normal conversation. Na by then itwa Enock, mnanonga food wapi? And they tell you, mimi naendanga kwa madhe uko chini, I buy githeri for that bob, I eat. Then another one can come, mimi naendanga pizza uko chini, tunashikana huyu bro wangu hapa hivi, we rarua eat. And then now from that, now they might say that, but you end up, kifiko kuna pata everybody has ugali skuma. You're like, you guys, you are lying to me. Observing what they do.
Yeah.
And then now trying now just to have a conversation with them now regarding what they're actually doing.
Yes.
Can give you more insights. Now the next step after that, now it's probably now when you have given them your prototype or your MVP and trying to look at, now trying to get their feedback and just pushing out that sample question. Na bidhi unaweza nunua ngapi? If they decide ni vizuri wakulima ni excuses, my friend, you're not solving a problem.
Yeah.
Go back, do more hypothesis, do more research on what they actually want. But if they suggest probably, I can buy this for 50 bob, I think it will be affordable for me. Already, you're solving a problem and people are willing to pay for it. Kwanza in Africa, watu ni wachoyo. You guys, I'm taking na pesa.
Yeah.
Taking solve problem.
In Africa, you have to be solving a problem.
Yes, for people to actually pay for it.
Yeah, because actually half of the population almost 3/4 are earning are spending under $1.
Yes.
And now you are trying to tell them using that they're actually living below poverty line. Now you're trying there to convince them they use these coins that they don't have to buy something from you instead of buying food.
Yeah.
I do want to compare side eye a bombastic one.
So
no,
what? Sorry.
No, after now introducing your product, say they have bought it. If you get somebody who complains about your product, actually you should buy that person coffee.
Really?
Yeah, because it's actually telling you the other the fear, don't want to say. Yeah.
And that is what now will build Sasa.
The criticism.
Yes.
Yeah.
The criticism is very
take the criticism as, can I say a man? Take the criticism as a person.
champion.
Learn to take criticism positively and don't consider it bad. Consider it valuable. Actually, now build on it, and now build on it. And because there's somebody we met when we were testing our prototype. Now we took our mbolea to him. This guy's called Maura. he has a farm in Murang'a County, chini Sabasaba. So we took the fertilizer kwake. We were with my co-founder. So tukampelekea hapo, they was talking to my co-founder because the guy was using Kikuyu. I don't understand Kikuyu. I don't know shit about it. And they talked now, and the person raised as a by the way again, and they said na by the imbole yenu ni haraka kwa mchanga. I don't remember any other thing that he said uko mbele, but hiyo like caught my attention. So even now when we went back to the lab, and now when we went back now to developing our version 2 of the fertilizer, because that is currently what is there, we were focusing it on based on that guy's
Back.
The fertilizer is good, but how do we make it have a longer lifespan, be available to the have a higher mineral density.
Yes.
So how do we make that?
Yeah.
Your customer feedback is the goal.
And as you note, he'll go by the way. A customer won't tell you precisely to your face what is and what isn't. It doesn't, because also remember there's COO of Ban, because we went to Ban and we were telling them we want to give you a marketplace and this is very African authentic. There was something she said and we were just casual. Actually, we were leaving, and that is what pushed us into renewable energy. A random, I can't remember exactly what she said, and it was just random. Tunasimama, tunaenda, oh you guys, and then she said it.
Yeah.
Then I went kangalia kwani renewable energy, what we checked and we realized, by the way, this idea won't work with this type of people you're looking at.
Yeah.
It will better work with these specific people.
Yeah.
And that was a by the way. So most of the time you really, Karen, let me quote her, she says, have eyes that see beyond your eyes. Have ears that hear beyond.
That's a good one.
Because you really need to grasp everything. Ni hiyo observation. Kama vile Enock amesema, juu mtu atakwambia yeye anakusmailia, but ukiobserve vizuri mtu anakuangalia tu hivi anasema wewe
Yo mbolea yako, not for me.
Yeah. I've remembered something.
Yeah.
So there's a joke that goes on in the startup world that says, if the founder of Ford, like the cars.
Yeah.
If he asked people, people would say that we want faster horses. But he came up with the car, and the car is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. I wanted to just a follow up. So you've talked about customers and how you have to reach out to them and understand their needs. So how do you validate your product to them? How will you convince me, Diana, I have fertilizer, or you will come maybe to paid and tell us, maybe you have some carbon credits that you release and we want to give you this and this. How will you validate that to us so that we take that and use it?
I think I'll answer a question from this approach. Yeah. So I've been having an idea and you're my audience as a customer, right? So one thing, you're an audience or you're my audience because you have that problem. So convincing you haitakuwa ngumu sana kwa sababu you have to actually have that problem. So as I approach you, I'm approaching you with, na by the way, unakuanga na shida ya kuvaa viatu. Na nimeiona, I have seen it, and you even relate with them. Sunona. Wow. And then unamwambia, now I have this loafer and it's only 50 bob. Nitaka how long? Now there you start now giving them the benefits, start giving them the
unique value,
your uniqueness and what, and they will just
You're loafer.
My goodness, you have sold umeninunua.
Yeah.
So because that's why it's very important you do that research beforehand. That's why it's very important to understand them, because I will come and I'll speak your language. Wow. I will precisely speak what you want to hear, because kuna pia wewe kenye unatafuta na kuna mimi sasa nakuja na kupea, because there is a problem I'm trying to solve and it's yours.
Yeah.
So, I will answer your question in two parts. The first one, when you're solving a problem, you need to have that unique value proposition. Like, why is your product different, and why is your product the best solution compared to your competitors? Now, probably for most, like inakwanga affordability, but it has to come like with that extra kick in it, that even if a customer takes it, they are like, hey, but this, as Munene said, in a bamba. Now, another thing is, let me use like a product we all know. The guy who created the milking jelly, the Arimis one.
Yeah.
So that guy created a product so good that people found other uses for it.
Yes.
Hey, this can be a very good skincare routine.
Mokua.
Atakat. So let us also look like the guy who created like the ajab. You see, there's these basic products that we use at home, but we don't realize how good they are until probably people like point it out to it. Like, hey, by the way, look at them. This guy, this flour makes very nice chapatis. Yeah, you can even use it to create the chicken soup. Even if they work. So there's a product that can come to the market, solves an actual problem that people are willing to pay for. And believe me, if your product is solving an actual problem, you won't find yourself out there advertising the product. Aki you guys buy for it. You won't do that.
The product will speak for itself.
Yeah, the product will speak for itself. Now from there on, it's you actually know just in the grinding and creating the product and pushing it out to the market.
Yeah. But now that
but it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
It's years of blood, sweat and tears. Otherwise utakuwa hapo hivyo. Na ndo dada kwa mlango wako anakuambia, "Hey, you paid founder."
But that makes me wonder now. There's no way I can create a product that is of this new world. Like there's nothing new under the sun, as people say. So now, how do I get what sets me apart?
Now, there's a lot that actually sets you apart. There's a lot. You should look at what makes actually a successful company or startup, and you can look at it from the team culture. Your team actually, because you can have this great product, but your team is meh. Is that you, at the end of the day, this team disintegration, you can actually fail out. Another thing, you can have a great team, great product, but you have no finances to execute. And believe me, kuna watu pale CBD wanatembea their failed founders because they did not have that initial capital.
Yeah.
People are out here working with business ideas.
Yeah.
But that initial capital
is a problem.
So there's that, the finances actually. Now another thing is basically another others you're not solving a problem. You're just there for the vibes and inshallah eating investors' money. Yeah, there's that. But if you solve an actual problem and now you sort out the team and finances, you're good to go.